I have a story for you today from Altona, New York, where the town court justice named Kyle Canning has been permanently barred from the bench because he posted a pro-Trump MAGA Facebook post with a noose on it. Pretty nice stuff, right? I mean, not hugely surprising, but at least there are some consequences here. So this guy posted a picture of a noose with the text that read, "If we want to make America great again, we will have to make evil people fear punishment again." This is a judge who's posting this to social media. And Canning had already resigned back in June when this first went public. And then now he's been permanently banned and has to agree, quote, never to seek or accept judicial office at any time in the future. Now, why am I bringing this particular story up? It has nothing to do with this judge individually. It's great that this guy was caught. A complaint was filed. He's been barred from the bench, and he personally won't be making judicial decisions in the future, and that's a good thing. But there's a much bigger issue here, and it's an issue I've been talking more and more about over the last 3 to 6 months, which is that in general, the number of judges that Donald Trump has appointed who now are serving at different levels of courts, this particular one is not a Trump-appointed judge, to be clear. The real issue is that increasingly, thanks to Donald Trump, the courts are filled with people like this guy. Most of them have the wherewithal and common sense not to post this stuff to Facebook, but they're thinking the same things. They're making judicial decisions on the basis of these beliefs that they hold. And by the way, they're more and more under the radar, and they are destroying the fabric of the American judiciary as we know it. So there are actually really serious problems in general with right-wing judges. Remember that we know right-wing brains and left-wing brains are different. There are neurological differences, brain differences between left-wingers and right-wingers. We've talked about the really good studies into how the fear centers of right-wing brains are way bigger. If you have two judges, one who is much more afraid because of what their brain makeup is, you are going to see drastically different, or at least different, we would presume, decisions made about punishments and other legal decisions, judicial decisions that they make. Right-wingers are more likely to see others as inherently bad or as inherently sinners, depending on their religious persuasion. That is definitely going to make you, if you are a judge, choose very different punishments, have a very different outlook about what it is that should be done with the people that are convicted, for example, in the court that you preside over. And there's lots of really good research about this stuff. So what we have to understand is when we talk about Trump destroying alliances, when we talk about Trump tweeting that now the military is going to kick out trans people or whatever the case may be, we follow those stories, we pay attention to them. When Trump leaves, a lot of that stuff can be reversed. The next president, hopefully, if it's the right person, will be able to rebuild these ruined alliances with other countries. The next president will be able to, by executive order, reverse a lot of the things that Donald Trump did by executive order. Great. The bigger issue is that Supreme Court justices and other judges, a lot of these are lifetime appointments. And these are people who, even after Donald Trump is long gone from the White House, are going to continue making an impact on the fabric of the country, on one of the most important institutions that puts into effect one of the primary philosophical things that distinguishes one country from another, which is the sort of attitude and philosophy of the judiciary and how we punish people, rehabilitation versus punish, all of this stuff. This is an effect that Donald Trump is going to have for a very long time. And so what I go back to is the frustration. And I have no misconception. It's mostly right-wingers responsible for Donald Trump being president. They're the ones that voted for him. But those leftists, because I'm on the left, I want to make sure that I'm cleaning up my house as well. The leftists who insisted, Trump, Hillary, they're basically both establishment shills. They're both just rich people. It doesn't really matter which one becomes president. Obviously, that didn't make sense from day one, but one of the most acute and prevalent areas where it makes such a difference is when it comes to the judiciary and the judges that a president gets to select. Donald Trump, by one measure now, has selected about a quarter of the judges at a couple of different levels. Federal, I don't remember if it's federal and appeals, federal and superior, or whatever the case may be. So we've got the research. These right-wing judges are biologically different. Their brains are different. Their fear centers are enlarged. And then you've got a lot of them that are thinking the same things as this Kyle Canning guy, who would love to, or at least agree with, Noose pictures talking about MAGA. They're not posting it. This is one guy that we got out. That's good news, but the problem is really, really big. And truly, this is a bigger problem than Trump. In the short term, the best thing we can do is get Trump out so that he stops being able to appoint any judges whatsoever. Reminder, the Kyle Canning was not appointed by Trump. I understand that. But bigger picture, we really have to be thinking about the problems inherent with the judiciary system that we have.